We're back. You're back. Riverdale's back. None of us want to be here. We're going to make the best of the situation.
I'm Kristen.
And I'm Will. This episode was terrible. Episode 10.
Season 5, episode 11, chapter 87, Strange Bedfellows.
That was awful.
You want me to read the little synopsis?
Sure.
Okay. In the aftermath of the prison break at Hiram's jail, Archie, remember that? Archie leads the charge to round up the remaining convicts on the loose. Tabitha reaches out for Betty's help when she realizes Jughead is missing. That's the general.
Riverdale is at its best when it uses tropes and cliches and when it sort of like leans into like the silly, heightened, over-the-top soap opera nature of it all. Currently, those things are using Riverdale.
Yeah.
It's not... We covered some interesting ground in this episode in the CND plot. Neither of which, though, like I said, interesting ground, neither of which were executed well at all.
Yeah.
Just for clarity, the C&D plot, as far as I'm concerned, was Betty and Tabitha's odyssey and whatever the fuck is happening with Penelope Blossom. Penelope Blossom is arguably our favorite character on the entire show. It was Alice for a hot minute, but...
Well, I mean, that's more your favorite character. Because Betty's my favorite character. But I get your point. I mean, they are delicious. Penelope is like batshit. I like
where we are. I don't like how we got here.
Well, there was no journey. It just, she was like, in prison, I started a thing that you've never seen before, so now we're going to have a church in the house.
Yeah, well, I was going to build to that because it was my favorite part. And also, furthermore, I mean, when we left, they were witches.
Yeah.
Like, all three Blossom women were witches and tried to sacrifice Minerva.
Yeah.
And so we did sort of a breakneck where Penelope is now worshiping Jason Blossom. So does that make her God? I don't know. Let Jason Blossom's body and soul rest.
Because now it appears that Penelope went out to the river and found his charred remains that Cheryl set on fire in a Viking funeral.
My favorite part is Cheryl discovers it and is just sort of like, huh. Like it's this Faustian, I think.
Like it's Sisyphus.
Yeah.
Every time she gets rid of Jason's body.
But I think she's made her peace with this being her curse.
I guess.
Her gift, her curse, her cross to bear. I don't know. She seemed... what was the point of that? Was that she's on board now? I also didn't... okay.
I know what you're going to say.
It's a post-Glee world. I love musical numbers.
Yeah.
I think they're so fun. I think they're so silly and stupid. There needs to be a precedent for them.
There needs to be a reason.
We need to know it's coming.
Well, like, because so far all of the musical numbers have been like a cheerleading thing or a High School Musical. And this was just like apropos of nothing, like a weird hymnal-ish.
Walking in Space.
Is that a thing?
From the Broadway show Hair.
Oh boy, that's why. Okay.
They sang, Penelope and Cheryl sang Your Body at each other.
They said Your Body so many times.
And again, like the Betty and Tabitha tripping balls, I was like, what? I loved it. I loved that moment.
Yeah.
But I will talk about around your elbow to get to your asshole.
Yeah, also, they did not kiss and they should have.
Because even Jessica, as terrible as she was, the actress...
She really went for it.
She had some glee.
Yeah.
Like, she was happy to be there.
Yeah.
None of the rest of them are.
Her name is Phoebe Mew. She was fun. Yeah.
None of the rest of them are happy to be there anymore. Not even Charles Melton at this point.
No, I think like Lily Reinhart is like, whatever, I'm doing cool shit in the in-between, and this is my paycheck.
They need to make it to 100, and then they can be released from this.
Yeah, I don't know.
From this debt, but
Uncle Frank was back. Wasn't he one of the convicts?
Maybe.
Wasn't he one of the escapees?
Well, he was super shady until the untimely passing of Fred.
Yeah.
And
Well, then he came back and he was a little shady again. He was shady some more. Yeah.
I don't remember. So sure. Okay.
He was shady some more after that.
They seem to have rehabilitated him in very weird fashion because we've gotten to a place where Archie doesn't need a dad anymore.
Yeah.
Even the beginning of this episode, fucking Veronica. I want Veronica and I want Hiram and I want to put them on an iceberg and I want to send them out to sea. And I want the global warming to take the rest of it.
Well, don't worry, because next week is a Hiram Lodge
episode.
Origin story. Who was clamoring for that? You tell me right now. Who are you?
Explain
yourself. I have a lot of questions.
So Veronica comes traipsing into Archie's house and he's like, he established boundaries. He was like, I think this is a bad idea. And no, and I don't think so. And 14th of all.
Yeah.
And I just like,
I definitely get that. And you're right. He was establishing boundaries, which I appreciate. However, they have already slept together while she's married. So it is sort of like a little too late.
No, well, sure, whatever. But at a certain point, Dodger and his mother, Azura Sky, showing up in your life is a product of your life and not them.
Yeah.
Veronica is putting herself in situations where they can cross paths with her, and I'm no longer mad at them. I'm mad at her.
Sure. Also, Veronica is still weirdly living inside Uncut Gems, which is infuriating because I didn't care for that movie, and I don't think that Veronica is as good at it as Adam Sandler was.
Well, furthermore, again, Riverdale is at its best when it's flirting with these things.
Yeah.
We're like a full season committed to this movie that's like 2 years old.
Yeah.
We needed, I mean, I don't know, would it have been better? Yes, it would have been better if it was just one episode. Or 5 tops.
No,
like,
that's the thing, is if the Uncut Gems thing was just to, like, introduce her as the She-Wolf of Wall Street, and she's doing all this stuff, and she's, like, doing jewelry buys and whatever, but it's like, that was 10 episodes ago. We already did that. It had the shaky cam footage and everything. We're now 10 episodes later. I'm done with the Uncut Gems.
Was Uncut, well, because I was about to say, was it noir?
No.
Because it also doesn't suit Riverdale.
No, it doesn't fit at all. It's just very anxious. It's a very anxious thing.
Yeah, that doesn't.
I don't like it.
Because anything else that they've really relied on, like with a crutch or like used as a crutch, like Chinatown or Dick Tracy or Heathers or like, I mean, all of that stuff felt noir. So much Carrie, like that felt so much more.
It's within the
even
wheelhouse.
The Teaching Miss Tingle, like it just it felt so much more. And this Uncut Gems thing, I don't get it.
Watching the movie would not help because it still doesn't fit in the universe of the show.
So I can't let it go. Azura Sky is like 5 years older than that dude.
No, I believe you.
It's not.
It feels like they're working overtime to make her look old too.
Well, she's always had a strange look to her, but. This again, also this complaint is not lobbed at Azura Sky. We love Azura Sky, be it Buffy or American Horror Story.
Yeah, she's doing everything she needs to be doing. I just I don't know. You're right. You're like at a certain point, you have to re-examine your life and find out why the Dodger family keeps coming after you.
Not enough people understand looking inward. They always want to be like, you this. It's like, no, you're doing some of this too.
Well, and then also this unbelievable plot. First of all, they get Sheriff Keller, which is the worst thing that happens in this episode, because they also get the mayor, whom we've never met before.
No, we met him. Dudley Do Right or something.
Who was, Mayor Dooley, who is nothing to me and means absolutely nothing, except for that he's just wrapped up in Hiram's web. And then they get Hiram. And Veronica is hilariously through the entire episode like, what about my blue opal? Is my blue opal there? Can you get my blue opal? What about Reggie? Will you get my blue opal? Which is funny because she doesn't care about the human lives that are at stake, which is, again, very funny. But then at no point is she like, I'll let you keep my dad and do whatever you want to him. Just give me back my opal and Sheriff Keller only.
Well, she announces to Archie and Kevin, maybe? I don't know.
Kevin and Fangs are around.
She announces to them that she's like, oh my God, my dad's basically Lex Luthor. And it's just like...
Yeah, bitch. since day one. It's unbelievable. That is my least favorite part about this, because we've said it before, I don't have a huge problem with Camila Mendes. I think she's fine. I think she's good at what she's doing, and I think she's doing it fine. They are doing her so dirty with this storytelling, because it's like every third episode, she's like, what? Daddy, you're evil. And then she like tries to take him down for half an episode, and then by the end of it, she's back in his fucking pocket, and I can't stand it. It's making me so angry now.
What was the story with Jughead and Doc on Sketch Alley?
Boy, I don't know. This episode, that's the other thing too, is this episode was trying to do too many things. So Jughead is still presumably tripping massive balls from the maple shrooms that were on that burger. And then he like pulled his hand out of the handcuffs, so he's bleeding. And he's seeing this guy that I was under the impression had died. So I thought he was hallucinating the whole thing, but
Which would have been interesting. So we gotta nip that in the bud.
So then it turns out that he just like,
he felt bad because I have the vague, there were 3 flashbacks in this episode. I have the vague flashback. It's like storytelling shorthand with exceptions. If you're using flashbacks, it usually means you didn't do your job properly the first time. But we also, I mean, the season was so thrown with COVID and everything.
Sure.
Yada, yada.
Well, the first flashback, it was Jughead was like living it.
No, but he had told the fucking
Stonewall Prep
kids that he saw Doc beat up when was this?
I would assume childhood, in which case what could you have done about it? And
I have the vaguest memory of it, but it not enough that warranted bringing it back. It was not a loose end, an untied knot.
And then it just turns out that Jughead's got like a magic homeless friend.
But also, he was like ill. The guy got him antibiotics. Like
sketchy street antibiotics, too.
Yeah, I was like, I don't understand. And the guy knew that he wasn't Howard or whatever, Henry. The whole time. And now he's hitchhiking
back to New York because something bad happened to him, that's the first we've heard about that.
Well, he's been running from something. His plot has been real
guess
trying.
That's right. He has like debt collectors and shit after him. But like going back more homeless than you were before with even less money is not going to help your situation.
I just like, I still, as a mediocre writer myself, I still have such beef with what this show thinks writing is.
Yeah. Because
he keeps threatening to expose people in his life by writing fiction. And it's like, I mean, I don't know. Is that working for anybody else? It's
not really working for me because it's not.
Yes, art imitates life, imitates art and all that, but it's like.
Well, he also just is like writing down conversations verbatim as the dialogue in his book.
Well, and that's what I was like. We were watching this. I was like, he's not Kathy Griffin. Like, he's not like an insult comic or like.
So that's the thing that's annoying to me is my thing is. It's not even he's not like actively threatening to tell on people. Everybody else is scared that
he said to Betty, I'm going to expose you when my book comes out.
Well, that was 2 years ago, which somehow still was 7
years ago. So I guess it was like their junior year. There was 3 separate instances in this episode where a character, borderline looking directly into the camera, had to be like, oh, right, from 7 years ago.
Yeah. Wow. I like, because she was like, he left this voicemail on my phone 2 years ago. And within the voicemail, he says, this is just like 7 years ago. And I was like, 5 though, right? Whatever. I don't know. But everybody else does seem worried. Like Jessica seemed very worried that he was going to expose their relationship somehow. And I'm just like, I don't know, man.
It's not a tell-all. He's not the Duchess, like Meghan.
He's not like writing a memoir. It's a novel. You can deny whatever. I don't know.
We did, because we glossed over, although there wasn't a lot of meat on the bones, but the Penelope and Cheryl, there was a scene where Cheryl, after finding the body, sees a like macaw pigeon
it was supposed to be a cardinal.
A macaw parrot sized cardinal flew into the I don't know.
It was like the largest cardinal you'll ever see, which are signs that like your loved one is like reaching out to you. So I understand what it like means. And that's why she went whole hog into the thing with Penelope. But it also, that was not a real life cardinal.
And also, I mean, this is like 7th time that this has happened to her with this exact same.
Yeah.
Like, we're in a very Futurama, fool me 6 times, shame on me. Or shame on you, fool me 7 or more.
So that's the thing is, like, currently, the only thing I care about is Archie's continued, like, elevation into, like, true enlightenment. And
true alpha.
Well, no, like mental enlightenment, where he's setting boundaries and telling Veronica, I'm not gonna have sex with you and shit. And then Betty, because she's just Lily Reinhart, will just elevate everything.
But also, it's like, even that, it's like we're invested in the culmination of Betty's story.
Yeah.
Even though, unfortunately, the culmination of Betty's story is recovering Polly.
Yeah, well, she's also got this
That's a holy grail made out of lead.
She's got this cool relationship with Tabitha now, too. Wow. That was good.
I don't know. I guess we're on this.
I think we at least have to stick out the season.
We're gonna ride this train straight to hell.
Straight to hell.
So my body